When your house has the right size, shape, and location, but not the right character for your family, it's time for a rustic renovation.
That is so beautiful.
I've been helping homeowners improve their home for a lot of years. They think it's intimidating, but it actually can be a lot of fun.
And we're here to help.
There you go.
Dad's the expert, but I've learned a few things along the way.
Practical, realistic home improvement information is what today's homeowner is all about. At the edge of this cotton field is a subdivision where Trent and Crystal Gatlin live with their 3 daughters, Madeline, Reese, and Hayden.
She's so cute.
I'm a little outnumbered. Even the dog's a girl.
Every house in this neighborhood is kind of similar, and so I think it's amazing to take a great floor plan but make it your own. And we like to do it on a dime. I dream it, and it may be totally crazy, but he entertains me and does it for me.
Yeah, Crystal dreams it up, and I've got about 2 weeks to finish. No, it's not that bad. I mean, I don't like to let things linger, so
He's a doer. I mean, I'm a really good idea person, but I'm not the best handy girl. So for him to have like a real man to like come and like help him out, and I think it's cool. He can maybe even learn some stuff from Mr. Danny.
Okay, tell us all about it.
Well, we've lived here for almost a year, and we've been fixing some things up, but we would really love some more custom pieces and some character in our house. So the mantle it's okay, but my parents actually had a maple cut down from their property and had a spare mantle, so they gave it to us.
Right,
it's
great,
so big,
good.
too.
probably 200 pounds of maple. It's gonna take a team.
Yeah, I'm hoping that we can maybe do some extra cool things with that piece of wood, and then, I don't know, that tile's so basic. So we just want to make this house look more like us. I want it to look like Pinterest, but feel like home.
If you take the ceramic out, you got to put something back in its place.
My favorite is brick.
Oh.
I love brick, and maybe do you know how to like German schmear? Have y'all ever done something like that?
yeah.
I've never done anything like that, so it scares me.
What about the walls?
She came up with an idea of putting wood on the wall,
Uh-huh.
kind of like this area right in here where we hang up our
Oh, I got you.
backpacks.
Yeah, very nice. So putting that
Maybe something
up to the
like
ceiling?
that.
or-
Yeah.
Then we have this odd little nook here.
What is that? It's like a little bandstand.
I call it a place to collect dust.
There's no telling the dust that's up there. Maybe help tie it in so it makes sense, so it's not just a hole up in the ceiling. Yes.
Okay.
You know, eventually we would like to put some shiplap on the ceiling, but we need to start out with a wood beam.
You know, it's really made for it because look how they offset the ceiling fan and that light fixture.
Okay.
Is offset
wow.
just
Yeah.
enough for a beam.
That would be
And,
amazing.
And also you can see the drywall starting to bubble up there a little bit. It always does that when you have that kind of seam. Well, it sounds good. Why don't you show us that piece of maple? I'm curious
Yes.
about that. We'll need a cabinet maker with a big bandsaw to cut support corbels from this slab.
We can have corbels made? I'm so excited about that.
So when we return to start work, the first chore is cutting the mantle to length. How long have you had this?
Been a couple months now.
Oh, okay.
How long have you had that square?
More than that. Oh man, that smells like old shop class there.
Nice.
So we can lay out the corbel design before we send it off.
We're trying to match a picture. We're trying different buckets, and we start with a 5-gallon bucket,
Seems like it needs a little more meat.
needs more meat in there. And then all of a sudden Danny's like, I don't think it's a perfect circle that we're needing. So we're free-forming it, and then all of a sudden there it is.
Yeah, I think that's gonna look good.
Is that what you came up with that design?
Freestyle.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay. It looks pretty good.
See the arc? Look, see?
Looks like a dinosaur.
Probably run it by Crystal, huh?
Oh, you darn right.
Now we're ready to clear out the room. Here, grab this, the rug, and I'll lift this up.
That's what's under that rug. Ooh, like the beach. They take the whole sandbox from the play set and just bring it on in because they're sweet like that. You're not working very hard. She's sweeping the floor.
For this simple solution, I'd like to share 2 tips for painting interior trim. Talk about window and door casings or baseboard like I have here. And all you need to paint quickly and efficiently are a paintbrush and a trim roller. This happens to be a foam trim roller. And the trim roller is great for putting paint onto the molding, and then we'll use the brush to smooth it out. So this is an excellent way to fill in all those little crevices. Don't worry about the paint being on a little too thick in sections or maybe even looking a little sloppy. That's okay, we're gonna take care of that with the brush. Just get the paint loaded on and then come back with the brush. It's back brushing, right? So you just wanna make sure you get out all those little imperfections, spread out the paint nice and smooth, just like that. There, perfect. Professional job.
We're helping Crystal and Trent add some rustic charm to their family room, and that starts with a new mantle.
Maybe just the caulking holding this thing on, I hope.
Yeah, I hope so, because I think we're supposed to save this thing.
When we knew that we were gonna do something with the fireplace, get a different one, I was like, that would be really fun to put in the girls' room.
Well, she said, though, that it didn't really matter.
She said that.
Yeah, I didn't hear any sincerity in that statement.
I just thought that would be really neat. They can make their own Christmas stockings at Christmas, and I love creating things that stand out to my kids, and I was kind of thinking that could be one of those.
There we go.
She'll be so happy. A happy Crystal's probably a good thing.
Yeah, brownie points right here. Just give me the word when it's time to go beast mode.
We're not saving the tile surround, so we can be a little more ruthless with it. Out in the garage, the ladies are about to prime the plywood we'll use to make our faux shiplap.
And I'm hoping if we do good coverage with the primer, then we'll only have 1 coat of the finished paint.
That's perfect.
So let's try that out.
Do I need one of those fancy things?
Are you expecting a baby? Well, Dad, I couldn't hold it in any longer. I'm expecting my 3rd baby, and I'm very excited about it.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. So I'm doing a little extra layer of protection.
Your baby number 3 is gonna be your jokester.
Dad's the 3rd child. That explains a lot.
I'm a 3rd child too.
What will I do with all of this work we have to do during that 2 weeks you'll be off?
2 weeks.
You and Trent are totally first kids.
That's funny.
Y'all are so good and responsible and stuff.
Well, like we normally do, we can make quite a mess in a short amount of time, but what I'm doing here is I had to remove a good bit of drywall so that I can add some additional framing to help support the heavy maple mantle that we'll have in here. The corbels that we're having made by our cabinet maker is going to go right in here, so I need something to attach it to because it is a very, very heavy piece of wood.
All right, Crystal, the boards that you have in your little mudroom area are 6 inches.
Yes.
Do you want to match that
I do.
on the fireplace?
I do.
Okay, so we're going to adjust the saw. First step, leave it unplugged while you're messing with the saw blade. You just push the board up against the fence, and that way they'll all be uniform. You'll be over here
Okay.
helping me feed it through
All right.
nice and straight.
Okay. I was pulling it away. Chelsea was pushing it too. I like to go in away because my hands are getting away from that blade. So I was down for that job. It's almost like the boys did it, but the girls did it.
But better.
Now, she's not going to change her mind on the height of this, is she?
No comment.
He's the one that's not decisive. What do you want to eat for dinner? I don't know. He takes longer to make decisions than I do.
While Trent and I continue blocking, Chelsea and Crystal get ready to install the shiplap up in that little nook.
Are you scared of heights?
Oh yeah.
Well, it's a little late to be finding out about that now.
I'm tall enough. I don't need to be on a ladder.
Let me turn some music on. You want to dance a little?
Yeah, that would be so much fun. I'm like trying to hold on to this like it's like got grips on it.
Well, I could tell she had a genuine fear of heights, and if anything had happened, I'd feel really, really bad. You know.
But that's not gonna stop you from messing with her, is it?
No. I was prepared to catch her if I had to.
Oh.
And I had the couch pretty well strategically positioned. That it...
While Chelsea and Crystal are nailing up boards in the bandstand, Trent and I have covered up the framing on the fireplace and start installing the split brick surround. We're using construction adhesive to secure the bricks in a running bond pattern. Early the next morning, Crystal and Chelsea start preparing the 1x6s for our faux beam by applying wood conditioner.
What is a conditioner? I've never heard of that before.
Well, because this pine is so porous, this will just help the stain soak in, so we'll have a nice even stain instead of splotchy.
Inside, Trent and I are finishing the vertical part of the brick surround, and Trent has a great idea to use pieces of rope as spacers between the bricks.
The next time I do this and use rope, I'm gonna say it was my idea.
So how many tricks have you stolen from homeowners over the years?
Oh, none. None at all.
This would be the first one.
But I think this might be the first one.
Okay.
Because I like this. That's pretty good, even though when you get ready to go skiing this summer, you're not gonna have a ski rope to ski with, but what a great idea for a spacer. Brilliant, man, brilliant.
You know you're in trouble when your light bulb is smarter than you, and let me tell you, this one is pretty smart. This is the Philips Smart LED light bulb. Now, this thing is pretty ingenious because once you put it in the fixture of your choice, you simply download the Wiz app, and now you can control this light bulb through your smartphone, and you don't have to have a hub. Now, you can do several things through that app once you get this in place. You can turn it on, you can turn it off, you can also dim it. You can also set up a schedule, set up a timer, and you can choose the color from over 1 million color choices. Now, if you put this in, and let's just say it's a little warmer to the other light bulbs that you have in the room, you can dial this to a cooler setting. Or you can change the color altogether and go green, blue, red, whatever you want. So if you're looking to create a perfect ambiance in your room that you can control without a hub and just with your smartphone, this is a good choice.
Much of Trent and Crystal's rustic renovation centers on the fireplace. But while the new brick surround is drying, Chelsea and Crystal are staining the outer skin of our fake beam.
We want to go with the grain.
Okay.
And then we'll come back and wipe out the excess.
It's a little colder outside than is ideal for stain and paint to dry, so we're keeping the garage door closed and turning up the heat to help the stain set just right.
So Trent, to build the beam we're talking about, this is like the slope of the ceiling that you have up there now. What we'll do is we'll take a 2x6. It'll be real important that we get that thing nice and level. Then, you see I've got those ripped down. The reason for that, I'm gonna take these 2x4s and we'll put it in just like that. That way, the 1x6s, they stained in there, will hang right down to there. Put a 1x6 on the bottom and the other one down this side.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Makes sense? Then we'll run screws up through this way into the rafters and that way up into that, and it'll look like it's always been there.
After we rip the 2x4s down, we fasten them to the 2x6 with long screws before we move the whole thing inside. We measure and mark the joist location so that we can start the screws into the beam before we lift it to the ceiling.
In theory, putting together most of the beam framework was just the way to go. Okay, we're on our own. Oh.
It'd be almost impossible to do it any other way because everything has to be flush and edges matched up.
Okay, we gotta regroup here. The wood was a little heavier than we anticipated.
That really drew it up.
But once one end is level and secure, we adjust the alignment and level of the other end. So the first section goes up pretty easily. The second piece, well, it's a different story.
There was a little bit of a reach there for Danny. Danny's drilling the beam into the ceiling and we don't hear the impact engage. And boom.
All I could see is that glass cooktop right below there, and I thought I was about to buy me a cooktop that I couldn't use.
After that scare, we work a little slower, but finally get the frame secured to the ceiling. Meanwhile, Chelsea and Crystal have started installing the faux shiplap on the fireplace,
Next.
using nickels to space the boards for more effect.
We didn't want any of the end grain of the boards to show on either side of the fireplace, so we decided to 45 them. It's a little extra work, but that just looks so nice wrapped around that corner right there.
It does. It looks so finished.
But we're at the end of the day, so Crystal and Trent have a little homework to do.
So y'all feel comfortable in continuing the workload here a little bit?
A little date night.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shiplap that can go up, and try to go ahead and run all of that up the fireplace and grab the paintbrush if you want to do an all-nighter. You got plenty of energy?
Yes, sir.
Okay, it's all yours. I'm going home.
It's kind of a crummy date night, but you know, we made the best of it. In a few hours, you're on the last few pieces and you're just like, wow, I'm glad I didn't give up.
The next morning, our first chore is wrapping the beam. In some places, we have to squeeze the frame together with clamps to keep it flush with the stained horizontal board. But once that piece is secured, the side pieces go up fairly easily. As they do, we realize the edges of the unstained side will be seen, so there's a little touch-up to do before we apply the sealer.
So to do the German schmear that you want, we're just going to use basic mortar, and you wet the bricks just to keep the mortar from drying too fast. That way we have time to like play with it. Yes. And there's several different ways that you can apply it, but I thought it'd be the most fun to use our hands.
I like that
that's
idea.
How we have the gloves.
Finger paint. You know, it's like when I start something I've never done before, it's like so scary. I start going, oh my God, what did I do? But then like you start wiping it away, and I love the creativity and the messiness of it.
If I had known you were going to take so much off the bricks, we could have mixed up a lot less mortar.
Yeah, oops.
No, it looks really good.
We have our corbels back from the cabinet shop, so while the ladies wrap up the surround, Trent and I pre-drill them for the 5.5-inch screws we'll use to install them on the wall.
Perfect.
And finally, the last piece of our rustic renovation, the maple mantle.
Look at that grain.
It's just how I always dreamed it would look.
That's perfect.
Wow.
That is so beautiful.
Is your dad gonna be happy?
My parents are gonna flip. It's so beautiful. You made my daddy proud today, Mr. Danny.
Crystal and Trent have a beautiful home, and the family room was already attractive. It just didn't suit the style and unique personality of their family. So we started with the focal point of the room, the fireplace. The split bricks we used for the surround brought in plenty of rustic charm, while Chelsea's German schmear finish added a touch of modern design and brightness to the surface. The faux shiplap that we wrapped around the fireplace makes it unapologetic about its role as the focal point in the room. And the simple corbel and beam maple mantle adds both warmth and sentimental value to the space. The new beam overhead is simple and clean, but it helps balance the room by drawing some attention to the enormous vaulted ceiling. And the shiplap in that nook seems to give that area a little more purpose. Plus, we only spent a little over $400 for all the materials to complete this project.
They couldn't have turned out any better. I mean, it was just, yeah, totally amazing.
Yeah. We feel so blessed and so overwhelmed. I mean, it's better than even what was in my mind. I mean, everything about it is so perfect.
Yeah.
I can't believe we get to keep it.
The hardest part is just getting started. I got to watch Danny not even hesitate and just jump in. And I hope to take that away from this. You know, you just got to get it started and go from there, and it'll all work out.
You know, a lot of times homeowners have a really hard time visualizing how they want the inside of their house to look. Well, that wasn't a problem at all with Crystal. She knew exactly what she wanted. All Trent and her needed was just a little bit of help and a little bit of push in order to get it all done. And we're really proud of how we did just a few simple things and completely changed the look of this room. And along the way, I hope we've been able to provide you a little bit of confidence that you can use at your house. I'm Danny Lipford. Thanks so much for being with us here on today's Homeowner. With your camera up like that, something got on that lens.
Got your cleaning cloth?
Yeah.
Cost me a lot of money to be that ugly.
There's holes in the yard, y'all.
Be sure to join us next week when we transform a blank slate backyard into a great outdoor living space for a young family.
So we needed something to just put there so I can pry against the wall. I got Chelsea's cell phone. I hope she doesn't see that she's out there painting.
No, she's not. It's a bad time to be finding about that now. Finding out about that. It's a bad time to be well, it's a bad time to be finding out about that. such a great line.
So scary.
We already watched.